this is before my 8-week booty program. This is after. Let's compare these two photos and talk about how I achieved a more rounded, lifted booty and got rid of my cellulite in 5 tips. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Let me start by saying this disclaimer. You technically cannot spot or target a certain part of your body to lose fat. However, building muscle does technically burn more fat than cardio, which is amazing because I hate cardio. That's why we focus on strengthening the area that you're looking to reduce your cellulite. Let me give you my top 5 tips to reduce cellulite just right off the bat. Then we can go into some details. Number 1, target the correct muscles with resistance. Number 2, decide on where to start with nutrition. I will help you with that later. Number 3 is hydration. Number 4 is sleep. Number 5, this one may surprise you, and I want you to stick around to the end to see what it is because it's some serious secret sauce and something that you're probably not even thinking about. For my first tip, which is to target the correct muscles with resistance, I'm gonna use thighs as the example of where you want to get rid of cellulite. I feel like this is where most people struggle. It's where I struggled, so I have personal experience in getting rid of cellulite in your thighs. So let's use that as an example, but it could be your arms, it could be your stomach, it could be wherever it is, regardless, just apply whatever I'm saying to that body part. To target the thighs, and I'm talking about specifically that like under butt area and like kind of your hamstrings, which is the back of your thighs, we want to use specific movements to target your booty and your hamstrings. Your hamstrings, think of them as like the elevator to your booty. The stronger that your hamstrings are, the more lifted your booty becomes. So to get rid of cellulite, we want to build muscle in that particular area, and we also want to reduce fat in that area as well, because let's be honest, that's what cellulite is. It's just extra fat that needs to be kind of firmed up. Because I struggled so much with those like creases underneath my booty and like the cottage cheese effect, the cellulite, the fat, if you will, on the back of my thighs, because I struggled with that so much, I created a program called Peachy Pilates. And I love this format, this program. To help with this area, we need a plethora of booty and hamstring movements. Here are a few that I used to help with that, like kind of creasy underneath the booty, cottage cheese, cellulite fat effect.
Okay, here's the thing. I thought about just doing the movements and just like not talking or anything and just showing you the movements, but I decided that I would rather talk you through the movements because I feel like form is super important whenever it comes to working your booty. So first movement that I'm gonna teach you is a banded hip thrust. So you will need a band. Now, you do not have to use a booty band. Think of it like the cherry on top of your Pilates sundae, if you will. I say that a lot on my channel, but it's better with the cherry, but you can also do without if you want. So we're gonna place this booty band just above your knees, and then we're gonna come down into a hip thrust position. Now, I'm using an ottoman here. You can use your couch, your bed, anything that to where when you lift into this, ooh, that moved a little bit. When you lift into this hip thrust position, your legs are at a 90-degree angle, okay? We don't want to be too high, don't want to be too low, just right here. So when we come down for our hip thrust, we're gonna really drive through the heels here and lift as high as we can using the booty. This is the most important part. We want to only use the booty to lift. I could lift higher just using my back, right? We don't want that. We are working booty, so therefore when we lift, we are only using our booty and nothing else, and our hamstrings. Obviously, the hamstrings connect to the booty. Not obviously, a lot of people don't know that. The hamstrings, so the back of your thighs, connect to your booty. So when you go to lift, you are engaging both sets of muscles. A little bit of a modification to that, you can take away the booty band like I said. You could also just do a standard Pilates bridge. So we take this away and just, I don't have my mat down, but just to show you, oh my God, the floor is so cold. Just to show you, you could do just a regular Pilates bridge like this if you're not feeling the full-on hip thrust. Next movement is probably my most hated movement in the entire world, but we do it anyway because it is very effective. It is a Bulgarian split squat, and a lot of people get confused on, is a Bulgarian split squat for your booty, for your hamstrings, or is it for your quads? The answer is yes to both. You can work either booty and hamstrings, or you can work quads with a Bulgarian split squat, and I'll show you the difference. So we're gonna take the setup is a little weird. It might take like a couple of reps to get the proper adjustment. I've done this quite a few times with this ottoman, so I kind of know, like, yes, that's good right there. So the difference is, if we want to work booty, we want to put all of our weight into our heel, and then when we come down, we want that leg to hit a 90-degree angle. And then when we push up, we are using, I personally think about moving this position right now. Holding this is insane. I think about pushing my knee out to the side and then pushing through my heel, driving up like that, and you're gonna feel straight booty there. Now, if we wanted to work quads, back that foot up a little bit, and then we're gonna put the weight evenly distributed into our heel and our toes. And then that knee is gonna come just right to the end of that toe. We are also leaning forward here and then driving with the quad. So when we're working booty, we're leaning back, driving with the heel. If you want to work quads, leaning forward slightly and driving through kind of the middle of your foot, kind of the sole of your foot. Now, for a modification on a Bulgarian split squat, because they are difficult. By the way, you can also do those with weights. I recommend. I recommend, but I don't recommend because you may die. I'm just kidding. No, but I can do them with, I do them with resistance bands. So I'll take a band underneath and I'll hold my handles just like this. And I'll come down and lift back up. You don't want to hold here because with the resistance bands, it's just slack here. So I like to bring mine over and then do the Bulgarian split squat. But a little bit of a modification, actually a lot of a modification, is just a lunge. And you can do these weighted as well. So dumbbells, kettlebells, whatever you want to use. Down, driving through that heel, once again, pushing that knee out to the side and only using your booty to lift. Banded cross kickback is number 3. And I'm gonna grab my mat back for this one, as well as my booty band. Now, again, you do not have to use the booty band, but I do recommend it. So we're gonna take this booty band and we're gonna put it again just above the knees. And then just because I hate for my shoes to touch my yoga mat, I'm gonna just roll that up a little bit. So we're doing banded cross kickback. So we're gonna come crossing on the other side and then we're gonna lift. Now this move, this is why I wanted to go through form stuff, because this is gonna be important. I'm actually gonna place the band right underneath my knee. Usually I'm in shorts when I do this. So with leggings, this band kind of rides up on me a little bit. So if you are in leggings, I recommend going like right underneath your knee like this so that it does keep the band down. So when we cross over, I want you to make sure that your hip bones are still facing the mat. We don't want to necessarily turn, so still facing flat to the mat. And then when we lift, we're going to slightly, very slightly open those hips up to the side and get a nice booty squeeze in there. Now, if your resistance is too much, then you're not gonna be able to have as big of a range of motion, which means that your bands won't stretch out as far. So I would rather you do less weight and be able to get that full range of motion in there as compared to you trying to outdo yourself and doing more weight. And again, you can always get rid of the band and we can do the exact same movement and it's still gonna burn like hell. So we can cross and kick. We're just gonna go up higher because that resistance isn't there. But when we are doing it with that resistance band, we're still getting our full range of motion. Like I'm still getting a really good glute squeeze here. It's just without the band, I can lift a little bit higher, but I can feel that it's the same muscle group that's being worked. And I feel like I get more of a pump faster with the resistance band, so that's why I recommend it. Last but definitely not least is monster walks. I love monster walks. They are probably my most favorite booty movement in my entire arsenal of booty movements. The reason I love it so much, it works hip mobility. People wonder why I work booty so much. Number 1, we gotta have that fat ass. But number 2, I had 2 hip surgeries. I say this all the time on my channel because it's kind of a disclaimer. I had 2 hip surgeries in 2018, so hip mobility is super important to me. I have never been able to regain my full range of motion, I don't think. But it's so much better than what it was before I had my surgery, because beforehand I literally wasn't sleeping and I couldn't do that. Literally that little bitty movement, I could not do that. And I can completely do it over now, like in both ways. So that's wonderful. But it's because I have worked hip mobility so much. I actually learned these movements from my physical therapist, right? Like during my rehab. So let me show you. So you will need a booty band for this one. Now, you can do these movements without a booty band. You're gonna get a pump, but not nearly as much as you would with a booty band. So I am almost gonna say that this is a non-negotiable for these movements that I'm about to show you. So we're gonna place booty band just above the knees. I'm gonna start over here. We're gonna start with a lateral variation. So we're gonna come into a little mini squat. Let me show you from the side. I'm gonna go about this low, okay? So we're gonna come down, mini squat, and we're going to sidestep together, sidestep together. Some faltering in form that I see is people will sidestep and lean with it. This is working nothing. Like, I'm sorry, but it's not, we're not doing anything here. You want to keep your entire upper body really solid, spine really tall, core tight so that we're not wavering in any way. And then when we step together, you want a little bit of space just to keep the tension in that band so it doesn't slide down. Just step out as wide as you can, but we don't want collapsing knees. We want to keep the knees out to the side as much as we can, and therefore working the roundness in that booty, working that little like booty dimple that you can get right here, popping that right out. Next variation, I call the next two variations C's and D's, and it's because one creates a C, one creates a D motion. So C's first, we're gonna step forward and go around and make a C shape, right? So we're coming in, backward C, and a C, and a C. So we want to focus more so, I'm gonna show you from the front, we wanna focus more so on stepping out to the side than we wanna focus on going forward. So the smaller steps forward, bigger steps out to the side is what we're looking for. Notice that I keep my knees out when I do this as well, so that we're not doing this motion, right? So just make sure that we are constantly keeping the knee over those toes at all times. We also want to make sure that we're sinking down low enough, because if we're up here, like this is going to do a little bit, but then it's going to be mainly kind of momentum and a little bit of, you know, not really the right muscles that you're looking for. Okay, D variation is the last one. This one I feel like is the toughest and it's because it gets like so deep into your hip joint. So we're gonna take a small step forward and then we're gonna go around, town. So we're gonna go around right here and around. Small step forward, big circle out to the side. So let me show you from the front. When we do this small step, I don't want you to lean, okay? I've seen this a lot where you just lean. We're not looking for that. Even if your range of motion is tiny, even if it is right there, that's totally fine. We will work up to doing the bigger circles, but for now, if all that you can do is this without leaning, that's what I want, because that's when you work the proper muscle groups. This is gonna seriously work some mobility in your hips. It's also gonna work some balance, some core work. I overall love monster walks. I feel like it's a sponsored video right now, hashtag monster walks. I feel like I should almost get the Monster Energy drinks to sponsor it. Monster walks, like I said, are my #1 favorite. And that's it. Boom. Now, I'm gonna add a little something onto the end because I do want to give you a full workout. So I have my full workout written down right here. So let me tell you what I did. You can write it down and you can do it yourself. So banded hip thrust, our first movement, do 3 sets of 20, 60 seconds of rest in between sets. So make sure that you are timing your rest to keep your booty constantly engaged. Number 2, Bulgarian split squat, 3 sets of 15 each side. Make sure that you do each side for 15, 60 seconds of rest in between sets. And then also make sure that you're taking 2 minutes of rest in between the movements, okay? Banded cross kickback, 3 sets of 15 each. Again, make sure that you're doing 15 on each side, 60 seconds of rest. Last movement, monster walks. All 3 variations, you're gonna do 2 rounds total. So you'll do lateral C's, D's, that's 1 round. And you'll do lateral C's, D's, that's 2 rounds. 15 each. So on those laterals, you'll go 15 down, 15 back. On the C's and D's, you'll go 1, 1, 2, 2, 15 each side, each variation, 2 rounds, 60 seconds of rest in between, and that is the full workout, my friend. Okay, that's it. back to the video.
Notice that all of these movements are weighted. I want you to build muscle instead of just maintaining, and weights, resistance bands, dumbbells, kettlebells, whatever you want to use will help us achieve that desired physique faster. Plus, you need to build muscle, so we need resistance training. Now let's talk about tip number 2, which is nutrition and where to start. When I did this 8-week Peachy Pilates program challenge that I created, I wasn't paying super close attention to what I was eating. I was just kind of eating whatever I felt like my body needed. This is called intuitive eating. So just kind of making sure that we are just eating until we're full, not overeating. You know, if I felt like I needed the extra carbs, or I felt like I needed the extra protein or fat or whatever, then I ate it. Sometimes this method works for me. Most of the time it doesn't, to be honest. I wish that I would have been on an actual like nutrition plan when I was doing this program, because I know I would have achieved better results. However, I am in love with the results that I had. It's just it's taking me a lot longer to achieve that ideal physique that I wanted, because I wasn't paying so close attention to what I was eating. I would say that I was eating healthy about 75 to 80% of the time. I would say that I was eating healthy. I definitely had probably a few too many cheat meals or whatever, because I honestly was not super focused on nutrition. And a part of that is because when I create any sort of program, I want to come at it with the intention of other people doing it, because I want to be able to give these workouts to other people so that they can achieve similar results. I know that nutrition is probably the hardest part of any sort of workout program or whatever. It's always the number one thing that people struggle with. So that's why I wanted to take that intuitive eating approach instead of doing like strict macros or anything like that, because I feel like most people in the world are not gonna wanna count macros or count calories. Most people in the world probably don't even know what a macro is. So I came at it with that approach. I'm glad that I did, because that means that the results that I got, it's very achievable for people. Like, just to get that little bit more like rounded effect, the lifted effect, very achievable, even if you are not on any sort of strict diet. I am just that type of person as well, that once I have a cheat meal in a program, and I'm like, if I decide that I am on a workout program and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do like strict macros and all of that, if I have one cheat meal, then I'm done. Like, all of a sudden I'm like, I need every meal to be a cheat meal now, because it's so tasty and yummy. And I feel like I'm in a much better place now compared to what I was then, because I have never been happier with how I'm eating. I don't like using the word toxic, but I don't have that like toxic feeling of like, if I eat this one bad thing, then it's just the end of the world, and you feel like complete crap the next day. Not just your stomach, but like, I don't know, you get that feeling of like, God, I wish I would have done that. That just heavy regret just weighing on you. I don't get that so much anymore. And a part of that is because I have cleaned up my food so much. And I'm gonna give you the tips. I'm gonna give you the tips in a second of how I cleaned up my diet. Seriously though, I bet you I have like nice, healthy meals like 95% of the time at this point. I am currently counting macros, just to be completely transparent with you guys, because I am trying to lean down just a little bit. So I am properly like counting my protein and my carbs. I also figured out that I was way undershooting my protein, just like most people are. So I needed to kind of go back to basics and be able to track my protein macros and make sure that I was hitting those every day. I was also overshooting on carbs because your girl likes carbs. I love them. I can't help it. Pasta, bread, muffins, my thing. I could eat carbs. I could live just off of carbs, honestly. So, where to start? I recommend cutting out 4 things: sugar, fried foods, fast food, and alcohol. I highly recommend starting with not just one, but all 4 of these things. You will be amazed at how much less bloated and heavy you will feel after cutting these 4 things out for just 1 week. All the things that I listed induce inflammation, which leaves you with this like very heavy, stiff, tired feeling. And I don't want you to feel like that. I don't want you to feel tired all the time. Keep in mind, I am not saying that you need to cut these 4 things out forever. There's always a healthy balance to everything. I recommend starting with just a little 2-week challenge for yourself. See how you feel after cutting these 4 things out for 2 weeks. Maybe even make it a 6-week challenge if you're feeling up to it. And if you're feeling really brave, you might want to start counting macros just to see where you're at. I'm not saying to do it for a long period of time. I'm saying maybe even to just do an audit of what you're eating right now and see if you need more or less of protein or carbs. Or like me, I just started with tracking my protein levels. I will tell you that protein is of utmost importance when it comes to building muscle like you're about to build to reduce cellulite. The reason why I want your protein levels to be so high, when we are building muscle, these tiny little micro tears happen. So there are tiny little adhesions in your muscles will happen as you are working out. I know that this sounds like a bad thing, but it's totally not. It's totally normal. When we eat or drink protein, it kind of goes through your system and it helps to fill in the gaps formed by those little micro tears. So think of like when you're working out, like this is your little micro tear. The protein will go in and fill in that gap so it closes up. Not only does it close, but it expands. Think of like a water balloon, right? Like a little balloon. When you fill it with water, it expands. That's what helps our muscles grow and swell. If you don't get in enough protein, then that can lead to a lot of soreness and maybe even injury. Water will also help with this process because it kind of shuffles the protein through your system. Which leads us to tip number 3, but before we jump in, keep in mind that any commitment that you make is a promise to yourself. If you say, I'm gonna do a 2-week challenge, I'm gonna do a 6-week challenge, keep to that promise. You need to tell someone that you're doing this, whether it is your spouse, whether it is a friend, whether it is an online accountability buddy, if you leave it in the comments. Whoever you need to tell that you are doing this program, have them check in on you like once a week. But keep in mind that you cannot get mad at this person for them holding you accountable. Okay, back to tip number 3, which is hydration. This is gonna be wild, but I'm gonna tell you to strive to hit a gallon a day. Yes, a gallon. I know that it is a lot, but a gallon is what we need. Yes, you will feel like you have the bladder the size of a squirrel, but that part doesn't last forever. Give it like a week, maybe 2, and your bladder will expand and adjust. Tip number 4 is sleep. Wholly unknown importance. Sleep is absolutely crucial if you are building muscle. You may be sore, I hope you are, so you'll definitely be needing some extra Z's. Strive to get 7.5 to 8 hours every single night. You would be amazed at the amount of research that I've seen where sleep depravity will affect your ability to lose weight, gain muscle, lose fat, whatever. Not to mention the brain fog and the higher stress levels, among other things. Make sure that you set a bedtime and you stick to it. I need to be better about this as well. Tip number 5, the one that we've all been waiting for. Can I get a drum roll, please? It's to get outside. We need to get outside. This is just a simple mood booster. Taking even a 10-minute walk every single day will do. Even just walking to your mailbox and back, that'll do. Soaking up some extra sun does wonders for us mentally. There's research to back it up. Eating healthy and doing all of these workouts may make you feel down and in a rut. We may need some extra sun to remember that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Don't think about how hard this journey is gonna be. Think about how happy and proud you'll be when you get there. Think about it like a vacation. You're not nearly as concerned with the flight itinerary, the rental car, whatever else. You're more focused on Cabo. You wanna go to the beach where it's sunny and bright and you can lounge around and drink mimosas all day. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't that sound amazing? So that's what I'm saying. Like, a healthy, fit journey is just like that. We don't need to be focused on the day-to-day. We don't need to be focused on whatever your diet plan is, whatever your workouts are. Like, those will come. What I need you to focus on more is how you will feel when you get there. Focus on the emotions that you want to feel at the end of this. But I also need you to be realistic because you're not gonna achieve your dream ideal body in 2 weeks. I'm telling you, focusing on that emotion that you feel at the end is what's gonna keep you going every day. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to leave them in the comments below or feel free to DM me on any of my social media platforms. I want you to comment down below and tell me if you're making a commitment today, be it big or small, Whatever it is, it's a big deal. Even if it is a small one, it's still a big deal. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this one. I release a new workout video every single Monday and Wednesday, so make sure that you subscribe to see those. If you have any requests for videos, you can also leave those in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Mwah! Bye! Your muscles need to grow, and you need to live. So, you know, water. I'm not okay.